We have a lot of questions to get through and many answers to give, so let's just cut the small talk and get into the good stuff. 55 Gaming and Productions asks, worst video game you ever played? I wouldn't say that there is a video game that I would consider the worst, but one that definitely drew my ire or gave me some frustrations would definitely have to be Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Nintendo Switch. The level I disliked the most from that game, easily the water level. I hated those darn ghost sharks with a fiery passion. The boss battle against Clem also took a while for me to do, and it was a chore to beat him. But that's water levels for you. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a serious pain that drives you nuts. And although I am a smart young adult, I can't recall how many times I had to look up gameplay videos on YouTube just to figure out what the heck to do on some of the levels. In-depth puzzle games like Luigi's Mansion, yeah, safe to say that I struggle on those. Julian the Random Person 5500 asks, I don't know if I asked you this already, but have you heard of Olivia Rodrigo? The answer is a no, I have not heard of them. KGoodness321 asks, will there be other Chaos numbers in Chaos Charge like Shark Drake and the over 100 numbers? After you're done watching this video, go check out Yu-Gi-Oh! Chaos Charge episode 11, Shakespearean. That episode should give you your answer. Matthew McCallum 2776 asks, will AJ be coming back? And if so, will he get a new deck like Cyberse or Hydra Drive? If this question was referring to AJ as a character in the show, don't worry, his time in the show is nowhere near finished. If you meant AJ as in the man who is my best friend in real life, I would be down to bring him back sometime, if he's interested of course, but I'll leave that on the back burner for now. Also, there is no need for AJ to get a brand new deck. Cybers just do not fit AJ's character, at least in my opinion. As cool as they are, I just do not see it. Hydra Drives, on the other hand, are anime exclusive only, and I will not be using anime exclusive only decks in Chaos Charge. Plus, Hydra Drives don't exactly fit AJ's character either. On top of all that, for as long as I've known AJ himself, he is a huge Jack Atlas fan. Jack is AJ's #1 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Character from the franchise. So it's fitting that AJ is running Red Dragon Archfiends for his deck in Chaos Charge. Dimension Duelist 4149 asks, if you could have any anime/manga exclusive deck be printed, which would they be? Armatos Legio, for the sole purpose of the fact we could finally get Judgment Arrows printed as an actual card. That plus the archetype is kinda cool. Mr. Harlan91 asks, what was your very first video, and who's Reggie? Jace, Jessica, and Friends episode 1 Thanks for This Chance was the very first video I uploaded to my channel after I rebranded and rebooted it. As for who Reggie is, it sounds like you haven't checked out Yu-Gi-Oh! Chaos Charge yet, my friend. I would highly recommend that you do. Jesse Burridge asks, if the main 6 characters, aka Jace and the other 5, and the Chaos Knights from Chaos Charge would be in S-Code's Yu-Gi-Oh! Evo Unleashed, what would happen if they show up in that show, especially if the Chaos Knights arrived at Hugo's home, aka the Evolution Dimension, aka the dimension that was trying to make all the other dimensions be the same as them? That will never happen. Chaos Charge and Evo Unleashed are in separate timelines, and I am just going to leave it at that. Greg Hansen 2206 asks, what is your favorite Kamen Rider/Super Sentai series? Apologies, Greg, but I do not watch Kamen Rider or the Super Sentai series. And before any of you guys start rioting with fire and pitchforks in the comments section, Kamen Rider does look really cool. I have seen clips and parts of it online. It's just not a show that I've taken the time to sit down and watch. Gene Y. Vess Roland 446 asks, what kind of video games do you like to play? I really like playing video games made by Nintendo. Games such as Super Smash Bros., the Mario games, Pokemon. You guys get the idea. As for non-Nintendo games, I'm going to go with Grand Theft Auto and Five Nights at Freddy's. Brian's Clip Jr. 4894 asks, what is your favorite video game besides Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh's not technically a video game, it's actually a trading card game. So if I had to choose a video game that's my favorite, I'm going to go with Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Nintendo Switch. The overall gameplay is just fantastic with the inclusion of those Wonder Flowers. Saura V. Gupta 9239 asks, how was your Christmas? I had a great Christmas this year, got some great gifts, and had a wonderful time spending the holidays with my family. What are your plans for 2026? take things one day at a time, and of course focus on releasing new episodes of Jace, Jessica and Friends and Yu-Gi-Oh! Chaos Charge. What inspired you to make your YouTube channel? I have two inspirations. The first one, of course, being the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan projects being posted out there by other fellow Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creators. But I also am inspired, and I get a lot of inspiration thanks to one man, a good friend of mine named Devario, who runs the GoAnimate Beyond YouTube channel Sit Your Ass Down Productions. There is a lot of fantastic content over on that channel I highly recommend checking out. Are you going to watch the World Cup next summer? The answer is no. I don't watch soccer events like that. Dana Storm 6957 asks, who is the one character in Yu-Gi-Oh! That you feel you relate to the most? Roken Kogami, aka Revolver from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. The couple things he and I have in common is the fact we're both calculating and we like to sometimes paint the bigger picture on the horizons when it comes to certain topics or issues. Raven the Useless asks, will there be a crossover episode of both of your ongoing shows, Chaos Charge and Jace, Jessica and Friends? Because both series are in their own separate timelines, the only way they would cross over is if it was like a dream sequence scenario. I'm not against the idea though. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. Red Woman 938 asks, what's your favorite candy? I like having a Twix. What's your favorite color? Green. What's your favorite sport? Bowling. It's basic and simple. McPlot Roman asks, will there be more new characters introduced in Chaos Charge? Most definitely, especially on the Chaos Knight side, so you and other fellow Chaos Knight fans be on the lookout for that in the near future. Rehard SX7 asks, what your favorite extra deck monsters? The 4-Dimension Dragons from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, and yes, I do consider Odd Eyes as an extra deck monster because he is a pendulum monster. They go to the extra deck. Jacob Brown 9341 asks, my question, that girl named Phoebe, she transformers into Zexal, might just like you meant Astral. My question is, how did this new powers in her? Word of advice, my friend, and please do not take this the wrong way. You have got to try working on that grammar. As for the question, for spoiler reasons, I cannot answer this question. Down the road, you will get your answer, I promise. Ron Terzi asks, before creating the show in GoAnimate, were there other animation programs that you considered? I did not consider any secondary options back when I started Chaos Charge. Beyond is already something I've grown well acquainted with, plus it adds its own flavor and uniqueness for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series. Lime Lion 24 asks, since you plan on introducing Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom earlier, think he'll appear when Jace possibly has a berserker moment like how the protagonists have done in the anime, like how Yugi overkilled Weevil, or how Yuya defeated the brainwashed Selena and Lulu? Just like to see his supreme rage unleashed. Pun intended. You're quite the comedian, aren't you? As for your question, the moment for Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom to appear in a duel will come, but likely not in a berserker moment. In One asks, will you also do a Yu-Gi-Oh! Crossover with Mike Nee from White Dragon Legacy series like Perez Komori did? The answer is no. As cool as that would be, there's no reason for me to cross over with White Dragon Legacy. Plus, Perez Komori is good friends with Mike, Aaron, and the others behind the scenes. And there are other reasons as well, but I am leaving it at that. Have you watched/played other non-Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime/manga like Battle Spirits, Card Fight Vanguard, etc.? The answer to this is also a no, I have not. What do you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Neo Duel by Red Devil Studios? Should Konami include that in their Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime/manga? I checked it out briefly, and no, I do not think that that kind of duel style should be included into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime or manga. Are you planning on coming to New York TorCon like Tom Elkman, Sean, and maybe others too? I would need a reliable mode of transportation to go to TorCon, but chances of me going there in general are not likely. Have you been or going to outside of US like Great Britain, France, Germany, Japan, China, etc.? The answer is no. Do you know other languages besides English like Spanish, French, Italian, German, Japanese, Chinese, and on? Second time in a row, the answer is no. Are you finished with schooling like college or university? I am going to respond to this as gently as I can while being brutally honest. That is none of your business, and I will not disclose such personal information. I refuse to answer this question. Moving on. Asila Haja 2773 asks, does Jenna use Ice Princess Zero Rod and Full Armor Crystal Zero and number 94 Crystal Zero? The answer is no to all three, because Ice Beast Zero Fine is a monster that can easily be summoned in a deck like Harpy Ladies. Also, Crystal Zero's Exceed summoning requirements literally make it impossible to be summoned in Harpy Ladies legitimately. You would have to squeeze in a bunch of other cards just to try and make that work, but it's honestly not worth the deck space. Does Iris duel Jenna in the future? For spoiler reasons, I cannot say, but the chances of it happening are unlikely. Will be new characters for Chaos Charge? Yes, there will be, especially on the Chaos Knight side, so stay tuned for that. Hugo Bianchi asks, there's a tag duel in Chaos Charge? I can't confirm tag duels will be coming to Chaos Charge soon, I'm just not going to say when for spoiler reasons. The Shining Magia asks, how did it feel making Chaos Charge? In the beginning, I was feeling nervous. I had a general idea of what I wanted to do for Chaos Charge, especially in Beyond styled animation, and over time, as I continued to do more episodes and got more help, my progress just got better and better. Is there any sort of community server of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series makers? I'd love to join, I'm making a fan series myself. I am a part of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action community server over on Discord, but I don't have the link for it. You'll need to ask somebody else for that link if they're willing to give it to you. Blue Eyes Bob asks, what is your favorite episode of Chaos Charge and why? Episode 10, Backstab, is my favorite episode. Not only does it cover a lot of story points and go into depth quite a bit, but I loved doing the scenes with Candace. I had a blast. She's a loose cannon and she gives no fucks. Not to mention the other reasons, of course. What got you into making Chaos Charge and Beyond animation? I wanted to add my own spin to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series, and Beyond seemed like the best way to do that. What inspired you into making Chaos Charge? A lot of my inspiration for Chaos Charge comes from the majority of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series that still exists today. I would list them each, but that's definitely going to take a while, and I still have a lot more questions to answer. Philipsto JK Ovisky 7039 asks, what got you back into doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Content? I missed it a lot, and deep down, over these many years, I wanted to reignite that spark. So I reignited that spark with Chaos Charge. Has the thought of introducing a minor villain group and then making on the same level of being dangerous like the Chaos Knights ever crossed your mind? Yes, but on a minor scale, so the chances of another villain group appearing in Chaos Charge are unlikely. Are you a fan of basketball or football? I don't watch a lot of basketball or football. The only football event I usually will watch is the Super Bowl. Laz Ward Azure 716 asks, can we have the characters deck lists or is that private? Private for right now until I decide I want to showcase them. With new support for characters decks releasing, is there a chance we'll see them added? Yes, most definitely. Will a Speedroid Duelist show up? Apologies, but a pure Speedroid Duelist showing up in Chaos Charge is unlikely. Silo1991 asks, will Jace's Performapal deck out of nowhere switch to Speedroid, Phantomet, or Predaplant, just like how it happened to Yuya in the anime? For anybody that does remember well enough, me included, it only happened one time with Yuya, and that was with the Phantom Knights, not Speedroids and Predaplants. It's not likely that Jace will go through a similar scenario in Chaos Charge. When the Chronomaly Girl you've been announcing in the intro and your channel wallpaper will debut, in the next chapter or in the next 2 or 3. For spoiler reasons, I can't say the specific episode when she'll make her debut, but I promise that it will be soon. Mega Koopa, Pokemon and More 6152 asks, will we see Phoebe and her friends in Jessica and Friends at some point? Yes, they will. I just have to figure out what new episode would be the best to include them in. Will we finally see something more with the drama with Mimi? Why bother? There's no reason for me to continue getting involved in something that is just a waste of my time. Would you ever consider a follow-up series with Phoebe and her friends? Phoebe's a fan favorite, she's a fantastic girl, and her friends are great, but a spin-off series is just not in the works. It's not gonna happen. Native Willow 860 asks, who is your favorite character from Moonlight High School? Jessica Andrews seems like the obvious answer here, but she's already my pick for her own series by Sitcho S Down Productions. So for Moonlight High School, I'm going to go with Stephanie and Kylie Phillips. Stephanie turned over a new leaf in Season 1, and Kylie herself is just awesome. What's the future for Serena now that she's back? As long as she stays on a good path and keeps an open mind, Serena's future should be a good one. Liam Phrase 29 asks, will characters like James Sullivan and Dragon Archer appear like their versions in the original Chaos Charge? For spoiler reasons, once again, I can't fully confirm this, but I also will not deny it. Why did you not have Reggie with a Boral deck like in the original series or a Double D deck like his namesake? Even though Reggie has the exact same first name as Reggie Akiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, there's no reason he should be running Double Ds. If he did, he would just be a Reggie Akiba 2.0, and that is an obvious and honestly boring route to take for his character. As for Borals and Rockets, why Reggie isn't running those in the reboot, it's pretty simple. At the time I was doing OG Chaos Charge, I was on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains hype train, and I just needed a deck for Reggie in general. Borals and Rockets were the easiest deck for me to choose for Reggie to use at that time. What aspect of the current Chaos Charge are you the most happy about that would be hard to impossible to do in the original Chaos Charge? The telling of a good story. The current Chaos Charge's story and plot is something people can sit down and follow along with, whereas OG Chaos Charge, even I can admit it, and I'm sure a lot of people will tell you that it was a mess. There were times, constantly, where I could not make up my mind on what I wanted to do for the story. Why hasn't Austin been featured in more duels? It's certainly not because of Dark Worlds in general or Austin himself. In fact, I'm proud of how I was able to execute Austin's debut duel by allowing him to combo off as a Dark World player. I think the best answer I can give is that Austin hasn't dueled again since episode 4 because of the overall Chaos Charge storyline, and there hasn't been an episode lately where Austin would be needed to duel. Episode 8 was a prime opportunity, but I doubt he would have wasted his time dueling against Jacksepticeye and his Jinzos. But if it does make you feel any better, Austin's second duel of the series has been figured out, and it will be coming soon. Thomas Alvaranga 2839 asks, will you ever make a Rush Duel series or a one-off special? It's not likely. Rush Duels don't stick out to me that much. Favorite character to write for? Candace. Her loose cannon personality has been an awesome addition to Chaos Charge. What would you give to Jace to replace his Supreme King deck if he was transplanted to the YDU or the Dragonverse? I don't know, and I don't think the guys over in the Dragonverse know either. I'll have to reach out and ask them. Favorite custom cards seen in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series? New World Evolution Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! EVO Unleashed, which probably doesn't come as that much of a surprise to anyone since I'm a Dimension Dragon fan, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that Pocket Haifu Wolf was also up there too. Favorite new card in the Limit Over collection? Based on the spoilers we have so far for the Limit Over collection, I think you guys already know my answer for this one. Which anime deck would you love to see get printed? Armatos Legio. Which deck from the TCG OCG would you love to see ported to Rush Duel? Once again, because Rush Duels don't stick out to me, or even their format for that matter, I honestly can't choose a deck. Abdal Karim Mansour 1447 asks, how many episodes will you make from this Yu-Gi-Oh! Series? Both myself and those helping me behind the scenes with Chaos Charge don't know the specific number. We're figuring that out as we go. Why you are not use a real people for the character's voice? I have nothing against voice actors, let alone asking them for help voicing characters. But at the same time, I'm doing Chaos Charge and beyond, and the text-to-speech services they offer are right there at my fingertips. Do you will make a face reveal? I already have. How long does it take to make a ring? You are asking the wrong person this question. You should search elsewhere to get your answer. Are you in the Dragonverse? Not in any of the Dragonverse series, but I am good friends with them online. What is your favorite deck and favorite monster and favorite character from Yu-Gi-Oh? While I am a huge fan of pendulums, Madolches and Dragon Rulers have the two-way tie for my favorite deck. Favorite monster, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh character, Yuya Sakaki, hands down. Keaton Burton 5636 asks, will Kaiser Bolt still use his Armed Dragons and Cyber Darks in tournaments, or will he use his generators? Based on what we already know from episodes 12 and 13 respectively, safe to say that both of those original brews of Kaisers have all been but scrapped. Will there be a character who uses a Dark Magician deck? As of the making of this Q&A, there is no currently planned duelist to make an appearance in Chaos Charge who uses a Dark Magician deck. Are you going to feature Jabari or Preston Predictor in Chaos Charge? It's likely that Jabari and Preston will get an appearance in Chaos Charge, but I also need to talk things over with my Chaos Charge team behind the scenes and see what they have to say. It never hurts to get insight or second opinions from those helping you. Treasure Key Studios asks, which episode of Chaos Charge are you most proud of? Episode 10 is my favorite episode, but the episode that I'm most proud of personally is the episode that precedes it, Episode 9, Champions Challenge. It features, as of right now, one of the best Chaos Charge duels of the entire show, which I am super proud of how it turned out. Wilfredo Cypher 9507 asks, out of the 4-dimensional dragons families, which one is your default choice? Odd Eyes would be my default choice since they're actually an archetype. Only a small amount of cards in Predaplants, Phantom Knights, and Speedwards respectively support the other 3-dimension dragons. How would Phoebe and Cassie eventually react with the latest progression of Chaos Charge knowing that they also have their counterparts, as well similar to you, Jessica, and Carly? Since Chaos Charge is referenced to be a show in the Tyndale Valley Continuum, I'm sure Phoebe and Cassandra would get a good kick out of it. WDIN-ATX asks, why did that girl last episode say that Zark is not intended to be a weapon, not a cheat code, not a big shiny eraser you slap onto the field because you're tired of thinking, when that's literally what it is? As somebody who dislikes Zark for whatever reason, you clearly missed the point that Cassie was trying to make in the episode. Cassie views Zark in a different manner, not one that is simple-minded and basic. How much time has gone by since episode 1 in universe? Here is how much time has gone by in the Chaos Charge universe over the course of every single Chaos Charge episode, including episode 14. If anybody needs a more simplified version of this breakdown, the time has been 2.5 to 3 weeks in total. What would happen if a Chaos number was destroyed but it didn't end the duel? Would it just cause extra damage but not swallow them up, like if they lost? If so, then would they be able to survive if they revived it but lost anyway? I'm gonna break this down and simplify it like this. I think you're overthinking Reggie's entire explanation from that episode regarding the Chaos numbers and the side effects that can happen when they're destroyed. Trust me, regardless of how Reggie was describing it, it's a lot more simpler and easier than it sounds. How long have the Chaos Knights been active in universe? This answer will be fully revealed in a future Chaos Charge episode down the line. Besides the Dimension Dragons and Chaos numbers, what cards have we seen so far with serious supernatural significance? The only other card, at least for right now, and the one that makes the most sense, is Red Supernova Dragon. What inspired you to make one of the most evil characters in fiction, Zark, into a legendary hero? I think a lot of people tend to forget or overlook the fact that Zark's initial personality in the beginning was never evil. He was benevolent, passionate, and kind. I view him as a man who was pressured, and ultimately pushed over the edge, all because of selfishness and greed by other people. Plus, as it's been revealed for Chaos Charge, it's not in the same timeline as Arc 5, so I can do Zark in a much better way than Arc 5 did. Wolf Emperor N112 asks, what would you say is your favorite deck working with in Chaos Charge or in general? Being honest, it's hard to choose for Chaos Charge. A lot of the decks in the series have been fun to work with. As for in general, Performer Pal and Odd Eyes decks would be my answer. What was your thought process for assigning everyone's decks in the series? Very simple, just try and choose whatever deck would make the most sense, or that would be the most fitting for the character of choice. Do you always script your duels, or do you play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or Master Duel first and script the preferred result, like if the preferred character wins? I often will do both, scripting a duel from scratch, and using a site like EDO Pro or Master Duel to see how things go and play out. Cerberus and Cersei's duel from episode 11, Shakespearean, is one of the best examples of this method. The first couple of turns to that duel were based off of an EDO Pro replay. Around turn 4 or 5 is when I slowly started to take over and scripted the duel in my own way. The method itself is quite useful, however, it is one that also has its own risks that need to be taken into account. There is absolutely nothing wrong with scripting a duel from start to finish either, all the way from scratch. When the Chaos Knights return to dueling, will they have the same Chaos successes they've had, or will they have them scrapped or use whatever fits their new deck? The Chaos Succeeds will likely just be scrapped if me and my Chaos Charge team feel like they're not good enough for the new decks. What inspired you to make Yu-Gi-Oh! Chaos Charge? Majority of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Chaos Charge inspiration comes from the various Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan series on YouTube. Are some of the characters in your series based on people you know? AJ's character for Chaos Charge is the only one who falls under this category. The vast majority of other characters from my series have been built from the ground up, personality-wise, and their traits. Other outside sources have also contributed for some of the characters for them to become who they are today. What is your favorite duel of the series so far? Right now it's a two-way tie between Carly vs. Kaiser and Cerberus vs. Cersei. Hunter to the Row X4D asks, is there any other TCGs you like other than Yu-Gi-Oh? The only other trading card game I like to play is Magic the Gathering, particularly its Commander format, especially considering how much of my money and personal free time I've invested into it. ZSlay0069 asks, do you plan to have any guest voice actors make an appearance in the future? Yes, most definitely, if they are interested. What would you rather do, never drink Mountain Dew again or never play Magic again? Since you're forcing my hand here, I'm just gonna say never drink Mountain Dew again. I've already invested too much of my time and money into Magic the Gathering. James Sullivan asks, I have one question for each show. Chaos Charge, how many minions has Reggie lost due to gum-related incidents? I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. But if I try go stupid for answers, Reggie's probably gonna end up adding me to that list. JH Vice Principal, did they reopen Alcatraz just to put Kevin in there? I really fucking wish they did, man. They should have just taken Kevin to that haunted prison, lock him up, and throw away the key. Although he's not in Alcatraz, Kevin's definitely not doing well in prison right now. Especially not after one incident where he called somebody a bitch. He paid dearly for that one. Jace, Jessica, and friends, how is Samir feeling about his ex-girlfriend Kenzie? Is he bitter, sad, or just, it is what it is? Not even a breakup can keep Samir kicked down for very long, so it is what it is. He'll pick himself right back up in no time without much trouble. Zombie Hunting Studios Incorporated asks, which were the #1 hardest episodes to make in Jace, Jessica, and Friends, JH Vice Principal, and Chaos Charge, in terms of how complex the scenes are? In chronological order, for Jace, Jessica, and Friends, it's episode 35, Graduation Haven, JH Vice Principal, the series finale episode, Graduation, and for Chaos Charge, episode 11, Shakespearean. Last but certainly not least, the Cherry Blossom Gal asks, what inspired you to become an animator in the first place? You can thank SitchOS Down Productions and various other Vyond creators out there who have used Vyond in their own unique and creative ways, with SitchOS Down Productions being at the very top of that list. And what inspired you to create one of your more beloved characters, Samir? The inspiration dates back a long time ago, back when I was first creating episode 19, The Tyndale Tide is Coming In, which of course is the debut episode for Samir, Jenny, and the Tyndale Tide itself. At one point, while I was doing the episode on my laptop, I was also watching TV, watching one of my favorite TV shows at the time. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called Bar Rescue. The episode on at the time was called Don't Judge a Booze by Its Bottle. This lone episode of Bar Rescue is not only the reason Samir got his name, but also to debut him as a valuable, hard-working asset to the Tyndale Tide team. And with that, we're all finished. Thank you everybody for submitting your questions. I hope to do this again sometime in the future. But for now, I'm Jace Hubbard, and I bid you all a good day.
Do you see visions of the sea? To fly so high as you could be?